Okay, I think, are we live? Just gonna wait a few seconds just to confirm that we're live and then I'll get to it. Okay, cool. Right, so today I just want to go through CineDesign, lighting in CineDesign, and comparing it to a real life situation. So what I'm doing right now is I've got a light hitting me from the front, from the side and the back. I'm going to replicate that in here. So this is my a general quick model of my my home office. So I'm going to set up how I've got it in my office now within here, do this lighting setup and see just how accurate this is. This CineDesign can be. Well, Cinema 4D really. First off, I just want to apologise for the video quality on me because I'm still waiting for my camera to come back from repair. So for today, and probably the next few weeks actually, we're just going to have to make do with the webcam on my iMac and the audio as well. So apologies for that. Okay, so here is a little view of my office. I've done the bay window, which is at the front, which is behind my computer. This door here is over the back, and then this wall over here. Obviously there's more stuff in my room, in my office, than I've managed to model here, but what I have done as well over here, I've put the roof and the back wall on. So when we do a lighting test, there's not going to be any lighting lost, but for the general view, I'm going to turn that off so we can see what we're going to place and where we're going to place it. So first off, let's put me or a version of me in there. So within Studio, we've got a couple of models. I'm just going to use the generic male model, even though he looks nothing like me. And I'm just going to place him in a similar position to where I am, which is probably around, maybe about there. I'm not going to put my desk in, I'm not going to put anything else in. I'm just checking, making sure we are streaming live, we're cool. Not going to make it too complicated, I just want to show that that the lights that you place down in CineDesign, they do show like an accurate reading and an accurate like readout of what they do in real life. So first off, above me here I've got the DMG mini switch lighting me. I've got a quasar to my left and I've got the razor giving me some backlight. So even though these are not modelled in CineDesign, we have got similar lights to what I'm using. So first off, let's just check the render settings. 1920 by 1080, we've got global illumination and ambient occlusion on, and we're on physical. So I think it's a global illumination. You have to have this checked for Kino flows to work, and I'm going to use a Kino flow bulb to replicate the quasar. Well, it's one of those two anyway. One of those two is on, and then the light will work, because it's a common thing that when you get CineDesign, you put Kino flows down and there's no light coming from them, they don't work, and you've got to have, I think it is global illumination working. So there we are, there's me right in front of these windows, and I put a camera down. So we'll put, my office is quite small, so let's put C300 down. Let's let's use a small, the 502 HD, kind of a classic Setup here, we've got Manfrotto. Okay, cool. So there we go. Here's our camera rig. And I'm going to go back into object view and I'm going to rename that nest to camera. So let's move the camera here. Tripod. Let's try and get this to. Oh, it's even given us a center column there for the Manfrotto tripod. One thing to remember as well if you're using CineDesign for the first time is when you bring in a build, say it's a camera build with a tripod head or a tripod, it comes in like a nest up here, and if you choose any of the elements here, you can't move them in the viewport. You have to always choose like the parent folder as it is to move the whole thing around. So we'll choose the head and I'm going to pan that. Yeah, that should do. Let's have a look through the lens. Okay, so maybe we can come down a touch. And then I'm just going to center up. That looks right. Okay, that should be fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have some windows here, which I've got here. I've got blinds on them. I haven't got modelled them within this, but there is, even though the blinds are down, there is some ambient light coming in. So I'm going to put an area light in. I'm going to put this outside the window, so it just gives us something in the room. So if I was to render that now, how are we doing? Have we got? I'm setting up my laptop here as well. Okay, that's a good question. Should you go the route of being a Spark or an AC? See, that's a tough question actually, because they're both good routes. So I know quite a few gaffers who want to be cinematographers and they've gone that to get the on-set experience. And but then I don't know many gaffers that have gone that route and then gone on to be a DP. Whereas, you know, the traditional route is to go, you know, to assist and then step up as it would be. Okay, so that renders okay. So that's just, I'd say that's well, if we turn, let's put the roof and the back wall on, let's look through the lens, and if we were to render that, see, that's, I think that would be a fair representation of what, if I was to turn this light off and then unplug the quasar, bearing in mind I've got the backlight on me and this camera is probably an auto, that's probably a fair representation. Let's turn this back on. Turn the, there we go, okay. Cool. So first light I'm going to put down is, let's get rid of the roof. Okay, first light I'm going to put down is this DMG Lumiere. This hasn't been modelled, so I'm going to put down a sky panel, the S30, or maybe, oh yeah, the S30. And we'll put that on a combo, maybe. Put it on a combo, it doesn't matter if it doesn't, I just need to get the height. So let's rename that parent folder the -30C. Just tidy this up a little bit, and I want to get that right because this light is right over this camera. So if I check this box up here, I can see, I can position it a bit more accurately. Let's push this right against the wall. It's a tight squeeze, but now let's get the stand up, bring it over, and then pan the light. Let's just change that to 90 degrees and tilt it down a touch. Okay, let's have a look through the camera again. So, significantly lighter. No, it's not. Now it is. Now I've turned the light on. There we go. Let's have a quick, let's put the roof and the back wall back on. So we have some ambient light coming through the window, and now we have what is going to be our key light. Okay, so not as dark. Okay, so let's turn the roof. Let me just grab the sky panel. You can see just exactly what it's doing there. If I was to turn the, if I was to have a completely dark room, you can probably, you can see how much, maybe the light outside is a bit too much. Maybe it is. I might just move that light a little bit further away. Okay, right, let's put the quasar down then, or the Kino flow tube. So next light, here we go. Okay, I'm just reading the comments here. Hi guys, hi Cinebaker, Lucky Luke and Malik. I'll have a look at the questions shortly. I'm just going to place down another light. So look at Kino Flow, 2-foot bulb. Now I don't think there's no way really to add a stand to just the bulb. I've gaffer taped that to a stand, and just for the sake of it, I'm just gonna build it and have it floating. I'll just rotate this. So that's how I've got it, and it is over here. It's about 3 feet away from me. So I can put this light right there and then measure how far, maybe 4 feet away it is. I think, yeah, 4 feet. I think that's right. Let me just have a, maybe it's 5 feet away. I'm so bad at distance. Just for argument's sake, let's have a look at that. I'll just rename that to Kino. There we go, and then let's start to see. So right now I've got the sky panel over the camera. We've got some ambient light coming in, and now I've just placed the quasar stroke Kino bulb to camera right. So already you can see it's mapping out where the light is hitting from that Kino bulb. So yeah, you can, by the way, I've got physical render on, which is a progressive render, so you can kind of see immediately how it's going to be, whereas the other renders it takes a bit longer to get like a finer quality render. But with this one, you know, we can quit around it because you can see kind of what this is doing to me is happening here. Okay, I didn't put the roof on that time, but that's fine, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just flipping back to my camera to see. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm just figuring out how can I get my camera to be full screen for you. Okay, so let's do the backlight. So this Razor 7 is equivalent to maybe, I don't know, 1.5K tungsten maybe. I did a quick test earlier on and I figure the RE tungsten T2 is a good representation of this light I've got here. So I'll put it on a combo. No, I'll put it on a C stand. Good old C stand. Put it in there. Okay. Let's get this. So this is just outside my door. Put the T2. And let's just pan this over here. Let's move this into the right position first. I just want to hit the back of the head. Let's tilt that down. Let's turn it on. That's probably going to be too much. This is on a dimmer. The T2, well, you'll have to set up a dim, like an inline dim for it, but I'm going to dim this down to about 50%. Okay, let's have a look at that. Let's put the walls on and let's give that a quick render. So again, what I'm doing is replicating what I've set up in my office. It does look a bit cruddy on my video because I'm using the webcam rather than my proper camera because that's still in for repair. But I think it will at least help you understand like how accurate CineDesign can be. I'm just reading the comments. So the human models that I've got here, these there's a female and male default pair that come with Studio, Cinema 4D Studio. They're okay, they get the job done, but it's worth spending some time in Adobe Fuse, which is free with Creative Cloud, and model some in there, and then you upload them to Mixamo, and then you can download them and then merge them in Cinema 4D. Matt Workman does a great tutorial of how to do that. So the render looks good. So let's see if this works actually. There, so that's me. There. Me. And then back to that. I mean, it works. Let's see if we can turn a few off. So without, let's try it without the. Let's just expand out of this. Turn the roof off. Again, I'm turning the back wall and the roof just so we can see the expanded view here. So I'm going to turn off the sky panel and then have a look through the lens at this and just see how much, because I think I've got a feeling maybe the ambient light from outside might be a bit too harsh. Let's see what happens. If not, I could probably turn that light off. It's starting to look a little bit more moody. Just for an example, let's turn mine off. Yeah, it's a lot moodier. I mean, if I was to turn this light off, that's another thing as well. In the viewport, Kino flows don't show up in the viewport, only in the render, which can be confusing at first. Okay. Oops. I have to start that render again. I cannot. Once, if you don't do an external render, I just do a render within the viewport. If you click anywhere, it quits it. So you just got to be careful what you press. I'll just check the questions. Would you say the best? Yeah, I've answered that one. You really like CineDesign, but I'm so low budget I can't afford those expensive lights to use. Well, here's the thing. You don't need to be on the big jobs to be able to use the lights in CineDesign. That's the best thing about it, is like I've mentioned before, I wish I had this program like 15 years ago, because I've got access to the big budget lights within this program. I can set up what I'm doing now and use lights I've never used before and see what would happen. As you can see, like they represent, they're a great representation of real life lights. Let's turn the, see that, really moody, nice and moody. I'm going to turn the sky panel back on and just render that without the this is now without the ambient light coming from outside, because I think that ambient light might be a bit too harsh. Because I've got blinds on my windows right now, which is there's still something coming in, but I don't think as much as what's going on through here. Let's see this. Yeah, that's better. And again, if I had my other camera, because I don't think that the dynamic range on the FaceTime camera is that good, to be honest. Oh, damn. I'll start that one again. So, well, yeah, again, going back to that point, later in your career, you know, I think CineDesign is good for all levels of DPs and gaffers as well. So let's see this. Okay. So this is looking a bit better without that ambient light. Oh yeah, and what you can do as well is, so what I've done with this room is I've modelled this and then I've just put that into an archive. So I have this is like a standard suburban like house room. So I've got that now in an archive. If I ever have a job where I need to, you know, I'm going to be shooting in a house in suburbia, and you know, a lot of these houses, these are standard sizes, standard, you know, window sizes and whatnot. So that looks pretty good. It's still quite moody. Let's have a look at me again. and compare it. Ah, it's gone. Right, never mind. But you know, you get the point. It's good representation. Matt, I believe, has quasars, the DMG Lumieres on the way in the new build. I think he's got the digital Sputniks in there as well, which are going to be cool to use. Not sure on the Razor, but oh, that's a thing. The Razor actually, they do compare it with the ARRI L10, which do we have that in here? Let me look. Light. ARRI LED L10, they do. Okay, so I'm just going to build that, and I'm going to swap out the T2 for that, delete that, just rename that L10. Let's have a look. I think I need to tilt that down, spot it up a bit, turn it on, of course. Boom. So nothing really changes there. That's me just being a little pedantic. There we go. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna try rendering that out again and see if we can get like an on-off comparison. I'll tell you what, no, let's stop that. Let's do it within this, and that way I can still kind of work. Okay. Are you using Cinema 4D Studio, one of the lesser versions? I know there's a difference in the ability to have depth of field and breadth. I haven't really gone into the depth of field, just because I've not really got a use for it at the minute. You know, like people are still kind of buying into Cinema 4D. Like my clients are still kind of, you know, they're not fully into it yet. I've got my first job coming up where I've got pre-production, and you know they want Cinema 4D within pre-production, so that's cool. Depth of field, you know, for me, I haven't got a use for it yet. It'll purely just be a cosmetic thing, just to make the renders look better. But with bigger productions, you know, maybe you can see the difference between like a faster lens, a slower lens, and make decisions on that. It could be useful. The exciting thing coming up is Octane Renderer. It's pretty much real-time rendering. There we go. There's the. Let's see if we can do an on-off now with me. There we go. So that's me. And yeah, obviously not perfect, but you know, we are using a crappy camera in my iMac, but what can you do? But yeah, I'm happy with that. I think it looks kind of cool. You can get reflection in the eyes. There is a tutorial out there for that. And I think it's like modeling like a lens that just sits on top, and then using your textures to like reflect the light, and it does give like a nice representation of catch lights and whatnot. But for these basic models, like this is pretty good. Yeah, I'm quite happy. But if you want better models, you can like do them in Adobe Fuse, save them, upload them, and then you can merge them into Cinema 4D. The hair isn't too good, but there is a way around that with, you know, again, Matt's done a tutorial on doing that. but at the minute it's just a little bit too much for what I need it for. Okay, well I'm going to let these render out. Have you got any other questions? I wish there would be CineDesign for Blender. I've never used Blender. I don't know how to answer that one, sorry. Peter, yeah, I have got Studio. You do get two humans, like this is one of them within there. Are those eyes reflecting what I've put in? I wonder. I wondered right there if that catch light is. I don't think it is. I don't think these eyes are reflective, but that's kind of cool. You can do so much. You just got to spend the time, really, learning how to do it and whatnot. Okay, so that was cool. I hope that was at least a little bit helpful. You know, I'll render these out and I'll upload these pictures later, and maybe some comparison pictures as well. But anyway, okay, so that's all for that one, and I'll see you guys in a bit.